I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 21. Thorfinn is on his way to go see Canute. It's been about, 20 episodes since the last time we got to see the two of them interact with each other. And I think it might be a little bit of an understatement to say that both characters have changed a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's also fair to say that the name of last episode is very fitting to how I've been feeling during this second season.
Yeah.
Pain.
I don't know if we're actually going to see Thorfinn reach Canute, because I don't know how easy it will be to get through the rest of the army after Thorgil's attempt at assassination on Canute. But I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I guess we will see.
Yeah. Okay, before we start, I don't know when you guys are going to see this. I do want to really say thank you. I have bipolar disorder, and I've been going through a lot. For one reason or another, I didn't really have a huge support system throughout my life, going through this kind of stuff. So every ounce of support you guys have offered up my way is really appreciated. Appreciated. It's a word now. Yeah? Sweet.
Hi. This is not what Canute wanted. He didn't want this bloodshed.
Oh my god.
Did you see the teeth? Like, he literally decapitated at the mouth. I hope he dies.
Listen to this song.
Forbidden from entering the farm. He's seen it.
See, Thorfinn and Canute's ideology or desire here is a lot closer than Thorfinn and, let's say, Floki's, you know?
I just want Floki to die. Now? Look at the grass, like, stained red with blood. And the sky, too. It's a responsibility not many would be able to handle.
God,
I love
so
that line.
Interested. Yeah. Oh.
Corpse-lined road.
A road is much different than a wait.
Don't make me cry. Mm-mm. Didn't even realize that everyone else had already left. No, what's that reaction? Worried about Thorfinn, maybe? I don't know if there is a show that has made me cry as consistently as, like, Vinland Saga Season 2 has. Everything makes my, like, eyes tear up. It's a high compliment, high praise.
Man, I want the lyrics. I hear 90% of them, and I feel like with every episode, it's kind of, I'm understanding a little bit more.
The intro, this intro in particular, this opening, is beautiful.
Oh, man.
Omar. The sounds.
Courage.
Courage. Whose courage?
I mean, Thorfinn's, no? Jesus Christ.
Was that like an amputation? No, he's already dead. With that belt with the skull on it, too.
Oh my god.
Her
Oh
father!
my god.
That
Think about the conversation.
Is she the one by the gravestone in the opening? She is! Whoa.
Just think about the scene of them and... Oh.
Where he wanted to fight, he was gonna go fight. He's now being haunted. She's caring about him.
Doesn't it remind you of Ketzel and Arnade?
He didn't even fight. He's really feeling. Ooh. Circles there.
I'm interested in Thorgil's response. What? Good question. Jesus. Yeah? Are they good men?
No
shot.
way!
No way!
No! Stop. Yes, he was supposed to take over the... My god. And he's intimidated by his brother, too. Oh, back to the skull on the belt!
Wow. Look at Snake's face. Oh my god.
You're the one who started this. Look at him, how he's standing there.
Wow. Okay, Omar.
His fight.
Wow. I am loving the dialogue. What's... Yep.
People always find a reason to fight.
Courage. Wow.
Thorgil didn't even like try to stop him after that like determination. Oh, with Canute and his father.
Oh! Man, season 2 of Vinland Saga is so important. Oh
He
shit.
is worried about Thorfinn.
Thorfinn intends on coming home.
He doesn't intend on dying. Oh, oh, choice of words.
Something bigger than that.
What I saw in those eyes. The idea of Oath coming back in an episode about courage to not fight and it not making you a coward.
Are we here? Oh, fuck.
Everyone's converging.
Don't end anytime soon. I feel like that usually signifies halfway, but it feels longer. Oh no. Exactly what Olmar was saying, right? He didn't have the courage to take their mockery. Oh. Don't test him. Fuck.
They're gonna try to hit it out of him.
And by his own fucking people, he's gonna... Holy shit! Oh, the scar. Fuck me, bro. Are you kidding me? Don't end. I don't want it to end, Anna.
Please. No! Stupid Floki. That they don't understand and let you. They're...
Anar, fuck. This could be really fucking big for Olmar.
Is he gonna wager against himself or something? That'd be wild. We'll take your... He didn't intend on dying. And then he met you. Ooh. That whole idea of being a freeloader. Paying for your tab like Snake.
There's a trick to getting hit. Oh my god!
Wow.
You fucking Walmart Dorkel, dumbass loser. The bear killer, fuck off, bro.
He's a wolf, not a bear.
Woo!
And Wolf's watching this. I'm so glad that Wolf has decided to watch this.
Okay, that was Vinland Saga Season 2, Episode 21. Okay. Alright. To start. If you're Canute, and you're told that Thorfinn is here and wants to speak with you, are you, number one, incapable of even in the slightest imagination, in your wildest, like, you wouldn't even begin to think of Thorfinn being the Thorfinn that we know, right?
Of course. I mean, he had a very strong personality.
From the last time you saw this kid, he was trying to kill you.
He gave you a scar on your face.
And you saw firsthand what the kind of person Thorfinn was when it comes to holding resentment and wanting revenge. Firsthand.
How many years?
How many years and the efforts that Thorfinn went to do anything he needed to be able to even fight Askeladd at the hopes of killing him to avenge his father. Now, you're hearing his name. Last time you saw him, he tried to kill you. I would not at all be surprised if Knut's interpretation was that, why the fuck would I let this kid see me if I know he's just going to try to kill me again?
And that
he's obviously fucking, like, talent. Why risk a man? Why risk another man? Like, that is completely on the table for me. As well is Askeladd's involvement within Knut's life and within the deals and the death of the previous king has no life within Knut's past reign of the past few years, right? It has no legs to stand on. But the idea of Thorfinn coming back into the conversation could get Askeladd's involvement and name and the history of what happened getting brought up into conversation again. And I think that's really fascinating as well.
Mm-hmm. I think that I could understand Knut definitely not wanting to meet with Thorfinn. I mean, Knut knows better than a lot of people that are currently in this story just how strong Thorfinn is and how much resolve he has. If Knut heard what this bet is that Thorfinn has made here, that he can withstand 100 punches, Knut's gonna be like, yeah, he's gonna win that bet.
Bro, you've 100 punches from this fucking clown, loser, dumbass, fucking idiot.
Stupid
you
bear
remember
killer.
what Thorkell did to fucking Thorfinn? You remember the tree? Like what?
But also, like, what did those bears
fucking
do
dumbass.
to Drott? Like, why is he the bear killer? Like,
bro,
what did those bears do to him?
I
to
guarantee you, it was like a starving bear, like who was already injured by like hunters, barely fucking survived.
By a wolf, maybe?
Yeah. And he was like dragging himself to like a lake nearby to try to not die of dehydration. And this fucking idiot comes up and he's like, oh shit. Yo guys, look at this! And just stabs it once. Fucking dumbass. Dude, the amount of fucking punches Thorfinn has fucking endured. Get the fuck out of here, loser.
It does
dumbass.
bring you back to like the beginning of this. You know what is really cool? Is that idea brings you back to our first kind of introductions to Olmar as a character in season 2.
Oh,
where Olmar brings Einar and Thorfinn are brought, by Fox and Badger, and that Olmar is supposed to, do things to them, and Thorfinn ends up getting hurt, and Snake stops it. So
that's a great point that I had written down, because the entire aspect and theme of courage was, holy shit, so beautiful this episode, and I love it so much because of like the immediacy of what Olmar says to Thorgil about what is courageous, and his lack of courage was him reacting the way that he did to just people fucking talking shit to him, to immediately go to Thorfinn not batting an eye at everybody screaming at him, calling him a fucking wimp, but the fucking bear, like being the person who reacts, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think...
easily triggered person.
I'm worried that on punch 99 or punch 100, this idiot is going to be like, all right, fuck this whole bet of things. I'm worried about my pride, and just tries to kill Thorfinn.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely...
I'm worried that Einar might die because of that.
Interesting.
Or Olmar.
I really don't think that anyone is gonna die from that in terms of, like, the characters that we've grown to know, just because I can't see that happening at this stage in the story with the specific characters that we're talking about.
I think Wolf might step in if he tried to.
I think that Wolf would step in if it had gotten to 100 punches and the bet was won by Thorfinn. I completely agree with you that this Drott guy would not be able to handle that. He would literally try to kill Thorfinn. And I think Wolf would step in. I literally said at the end that I am so glad that Wolf decided to watch, because we need that. We need the right-hand man to King Canute to be curious about this person from Canute's past. That is the short, young guy that is actually incredibly strong and like has been underestimated by all of these men. I think that that makes me really happy that he's watching and could definitely help protect Thorfinn's life in the end.
I'm really happy what they've decided to do in upping Thorfinn's character design. I'm sure I've talked about it just within season 2 at all, right?
In terms of aging?
Yeah, like the my go-to, only because I'm most knowledgeable about the interworkings like behind the scenes, is Goku aging up within Dragon Ball, and the fucking turmoil and fight the legend Akira Toriyama had to go through to actually get it done. And everybody was telling me, you're a fucking idiot. This like, when you have such a renowned character design, why the fuck would you change it when it's everywhere? But that's not the fucking point, bro. And I'm so happy that Thorfinn wasn't, like, he was not only aged, but he wasn't aged to look like Thor's. He wasn't aged to look like fucking Thorkel or Thorgil. No, he's still the Thorfinn that we loved, but we loved him in the sense of being smaller and more agile and not like in your face strong because he was a kid. He's grown up a bit now, but he's still smaller than everybody else. And I love it. It's such a great, okay, I'll bring it up again. And when we first met Canute, ever, in season 1, I was talking about the idea, wrongly, that Canute is going to be a legendary warrior. Whether he's ever trained successfully or not, that when we get into battle, it's going to relate to the biblical verse that I quoted at the time, that the strongest of fighters are those who are capable of fighting, but a true warrior chooses not to fight. That is fucking Thorfinn now. This is such a beautiful story, man.
And on the character design point, in terms of aging your characters, if you have a strong enough personality of a character and the inside of a character that the audience has already been like immersed into starting to understand and pick apart from season 1. I mean, we spent most of season 1 picking apart Thorfinn, like his mentality, what was happening with him in terms of his growth and his resolution for this revenge, and what would happen to him if he couldn't achieve that. Like, we were having a deep dive into this person, this child's brain, basically, in terms of understanding how they were growing and who they were turning into through the environment that was surrounding them and the things that had happened to them in their life. And in season 2, we're seeing that same person, but with a bunch of other external factors affecting them. And we're doing a deep dive into understanding how they've grown and changed from the person that we knew in season 1. We spent majority of watching Vinland Saga basically doing deep dives and putting a magnifying glass up to the true heart of who a character is that has nothing to do with what they look like.
Man, the second punch that hit Thorfinn coming because of Thorfinn's, like, observation of the wager, that was so fucking cool.
That was so
that good. Was so cool. And, like, what are you betting on? I'll bet on me.
Yep.
I'll bet on myself.
I bet on Thorfinn. I do. Though, I mean, as we already said, it's not necessarily going to be a fair bet at the end of the day. It really isn't.
I just think about where Thorfinn was when he was at nothing, right? When he said that he was empty, and before Spherical was able to reiterate through the entire fishing scene, because it was something like Spherical overheard this conversation between Thorfinn and Einar when they were, I think, rehatching a roof, and Thorfinn was saying something along the lines of, like, I'm not even able to do this properly. I've never been taught to do this. I'm empty. And then that leads into the fishing scene where Einar even tries to net out into the ocean and isn't able to. And it leads Spherical to saying something along the lines of, like, paraphrasing here, but, like, the empty person, the empty vessel is where you want to start in terms of building a person. And the lack of confidence, right? And rightfully so at the time, because you had nothing. But the lack of confidence Thorfinn had at the time, and even with the reference that you brought up about him just letting Snake's men cut him down in front of Olmar, compared to him saying, I'll bet on myself here, and then even Leaf's, like, the look in his eye, he's different this time. It's so good. Great. It's the perfect example of character development. It's the best example of character development.
I mean, Leaf saying that about the looking in his eyes is like a perfect example of what we as viewers have been talking about the last couple of minutes, about the fact of like aging a character and having them go through such a dramatic kind of change in who they are and how they think, how they view the world. I mean, all it takes for this person who hasn't seen him since then, like we did in season 1, is to look in his eyes and just can feel it. And we can feel it, and we can see the look in his eyes as it's drawn.
It was so, like, Thorfinn's character development is so well done that it's hard to look anywhere else other than just appreciate it. But God, what they did with Olmar this season, and specifically this episode, and bringing back the girl with her parents, and oh my God, do you remember him fucking on, what, I think he was on horseback, right? Tries to draw out the sword like a badass and it gets stuck. Him talking to her about how he is going to go off and join King Canute's army and become this great warrior, and like really, he man,
I would say
turning it on the head.
Both brothers, I would say in this episode, phenomenal choices that were made there in terms of like their relationship, their familial relationship to each other. I feel like this is just how I read the moment. I don't know how you read the moment, but Thorgil just choosing to leave there was love. That was like respecting his brother's decision. He might not want to surrender or be like there when it happens, but he's not going to like use brute force to then become the successor. He's not going to beat up his brother, belittle his brother when his brother's showing him such like kind of confirmation of who he is and now and what he thinks.
I think the argument could also be made that if Thorgil did anything to Olmar or to try to take up that role, it would have been completely disrespectful to his father's wishes at naming a successor. Mm-hmm. It would have completely, like, throughout his ideology and like that aspect of honor, that's not honor.
Yeah, and so I saw that display as you said, it could just be honor, but I feel like throughout this season, I have felt like Thorgil does love his family.
Where do you think Thorgil's going?
Maybe he's trying to start his banishment early. I don't know. I honestly don't know where he's going, but I was very happy with the fact that
one thing Thorgil isn't doing is accompanying his brother and protecting him. That's one thing Snake's doing, but not Thorgil, you know? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but would Thorgil really be in the position to be doing something like that? Like, would they trust him after he literally just tried to kill the king?
That's a very fucking good point. He was literally
caught trying to kill Canute.
Yeah, that's
it would not be seen as a surrender for him to go with Olmar. I mean, that might not be the reason, but...
Okay, I have a few lines that I want to read, and I think that it segues a couple seconds after that into something that you liked in terms of dialogue this episode. Can I give it a shot? Yeah. You are right. This is what a king does. To achieve his grand purpose, he spares those who should live and slays those that he must kill. The masses could never bear such a heavy responsibility. This world is still far from being a paradise. It's hell. And hell has its own laws.
Whew. King Swen's head, flying above Canute, talking to him.
Canute, you killed your father and your brother. Oh, looking at the road in front of him. Keep killing until your corpse-lined road reaches paradise. Man!
Wow. And one of the other cool through lines here, in terms of everything just being so freaking connected in this story, is all episode we were getting shots of Olmar's belt.
Yeah.
Just so highlighted, because he has a very kind of, everyone in the story has a very calm, not very detailed character design in terms of their outfits, everything. And if they have any detail or embellishment, they are a king. They are Canute with his headband, or, that it's some signifies maybe more of an importance or a wealth in the situation. And Olmar's belt just kept, drawing my eye, which obviously intentional that it did. This big skull, flashy. almost like the complete facade that he wanted to create for himself.
Makes you think of the ear necklace.
Yeah, the ear necklace. And it just really, it ties everything together in terms of, you know, the people that are wanting to or willing to have death happen to people until they actually start to realize what that means, or they start to care about their own life, or they see death happen in front of them with their own eyes. And just the changing within people in terms of their respect or their feelings on taking a life.
Yeah.
And how Omar has really done this character arc here with more just with him gaining information and life experience. He hasn't like changed so dramatically. If anything, he was just informed about some things and saw some things with his own eyes and realized his stupidity.
I do want to like give props to Omar. Like,
I wasn't trying to diss him.
Okay, but like I like the idea of like, yes, he had very physical and very like he could not control his reaction to the realization of what's going on and him throwing up, all of that, yeah. But god damn it, when he's in the room with his mother, his father incapacitated, and his brother, and all wanting the same thing of them continuing to fight, it would have not been at all hard to be like, okay, let's do it. And God, one of the best parts of it is Spherical didn't say a thing. Like the idea that Omar was able to, in that moment, when he's faced with that peer pressure, to overcome it and self-actualize and point out his own flaws by saying that he's an incompetent man who deserves to be mocked in front of his own family and his brother who stood up for him and wants him to be this honorable person. God, that takes what it does to be a man, right?
What I was trying to say is that it wasn't, this was always within him. It's not like he literally did a 180. It's that he was given kind of the push to be courageous here. It's not really like he ever really wanted to kill people. I mean, think about when he was given the ear necklace. It does freak him out. He likes the idea of the honor it would come with and the respect he would get, but he doesn't actually ever like the idea of actually being a part of taking someone's life.
Don't you think he wishes he did?
That he wishes he liked being
like
wanting
when
to
we
do that?
First are introduced with
Yeah,
Omar.
He wants it.
Like he's expecting himself almost to be.
Because he knows everyone else expects it of him too, but his father has set him up so he doesn't have to expect that of himself. His father this whole time has named him a successor, like, you don't need to do this. But he has this kind of on him idea that, well, but I'm a Norseman. So I have to.
Yeah.
And he might even see his father as weak, because that's what society has told him to see his father as. But really, he's just, honestly, he's more like what his father was like when his father was younger and not in the last couple episodes.
And his father, by building up this fucking false persona of himself. The false
persona. It's like Omar got like a crash course of like what will happen to me in 40 years if I continue down this path that I'm on.
Man, one of the best lines is Spherical saying, in exchange for your farm, your son has become a man. Jesus Christ. Spherical's one of my favorite characters in the series.
When I saw that he was in the room, I was like, thank goodness we can't have this like family meeting go successfully, at least for like my perspective of what successful would be, unless Spherical was also there. But almost now I'm like, Spherical didn't need to be there. Spherical had no influence on what Omar ended up doing. If anything, Spherical was like the person that reminded the whole room, oh, well, the successor has spoken, so yep, that's the answer, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. So good. I mean, honestly, like, the fact that he views himself, like, remember when he's in that room and he's like, Thorgil throws it out there, like, you're the one that started it, you know? That kind of, and then he like takes it back because he sees that is pushing Omar further towards what we know is him being courageous with being like, yeah, I started it, so I'm gonna stop it. Thorgil's like, shoot, that was not the right thing to say. Like, he was trying to guilt him peer pressure-wise. Maybe. That's just one read of it. Like, oh, maybe if I remind him that he started it, he'll feel like he has to finish it out because all these lives have already been lost. And oh my god.
What would fucking rewatching the series do to a person?
What would it do to a
like,
person?
Remember in season 1, episode 13, when we were hearing Askeladd say, like, I hate the Danes. And, like, coming out of season 2, like, with this ideology of, like, that's not being fucking courageous when the entire facade Askeladd puts on is, like, siding with them and perpetuating that narrative for obvious reasons. But, like, God, rewatching season 1, oh.
I feel like everything, it's already, okay, this story is so well written that it doesn't take super heavy analysis and super heavy breakdown to see everything being so laced together and so tied together. It doesn't take having to really step away from it and like break it down and maybe watch it 5 times.
You know what?
Because some shows do kind of take a little more of like, okay, what the fuck is happening here? Let's really analyze this. This show, it's so clear.
No, I agree with you completely, but I think that because it deserves more.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is one of the shows that, man, last week I was going through a bunch of my old YouTube videos that I've made. Like, I've made hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos that will always be unlisted. But
Forever.
I have, like, well before the channel, I have had such, like, an obsession with long form content, short form overly produced content, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it over the last few years it's been difficult. We've been really busy, but this is the kind of show, this is the kind of episode that, like, truthfully motivates me, and I'm like, God, I want to fucking make time to do a true, like, I know that video essays are overdone and just fucking meme to shit at this point, but I think that depending on the execution of things, it won't only be a great video to fall asleep to, but it will be a great video to watch while you're awake and to fall asleep to, you know? And I feel like this motivates me to, like, just, it deserves it. And I'm sure that hundreds and thousands of people have already done it, but it doesn't matter. That's not the point. It's the point that upon revisiting it and dissecting it, you as your own person gain a larger appreciation for the media that you never thought you ever could.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter if a bunch of other people have already done it or you've already listened to other people's analysis. I mean, think about it in terms of like reaction videos. Just if you really like a show, you're gonna watch probably multiple channels reacting to that show. But if you think about it in terms of like studying in school, like in English classes, I mean, I studied Shakespeare really, really heavily, both in high school and then in college. It was actually like a focus of mine. And some of those were like the same story, the same play multiple times, you know, in multiple facets. I was looking at it from different angles. Different teachers were kind of teaching their takes on it, their ways you could play it on stage. How it could be switched up, different ways to interpret things, and then different people were in the class. So you're hearing different first-time readers interpret a material, and it's like it doesn't get boring if you think that it's good or you enjoy it or it is actually, according to everyone or majority of people, a critically acclaimed piece of work. You're gonna really enjoy anything you can get out of it because every single person is approaching it from, they can't leave themselves at the door. Like when we come in here to watch, we can't leave ourselves at the door before we enter here. We're coming in here with however many years we've lived our lives, what other shows we've seen, what emotionally affects us.
It's my least favorite thing. You have no idea how hard I try to leave myself at the door. I feel like that breeds the best interpretation of media for the most part when it comes to objectivity. Like, I think that a lot of insight, if you solely focus on the material, other people who have no idea of who you are as a person could listen to your insight and understand and relate to it way more than if you make an insightful remark based off of your own previous life and subjective experience. Then it can be lost on more people. Like I think that like in leaving yourself at the door for as much as you can and trying to understand the media from, if anything, the author who you don't know's point of view. That is like my favorite pure like idea of like a work. Like
I think you can have a balance.
I know.
Being able
I agree.
to individually connect while watching, while also being open to whatever the actual first intention was, or what's really being tried, like what's being put forth, and not like putting too much of your own self onto it.
Like I'm sure I've done it. Like how could you not? But before starting the channel, when I used to watch a bunch of like reaction videos, I always thought like once we started it, I would never try to like, especially while watching the show, like it's different in a discussion a little bit, but try to like interrupt the pacing and momentum of the show to, if you're in a group setting like us, like talk, like interject about, oh, that reminds me of this, or doesn't that remind you of, like, nah, like that's not my way of enjoying things, and because of that, like that's not the way that I like to do things. And I don't know, like
But things are supposed to be pure. So
yeah.
it's like if those things do just like kind of come out sometimes, that's fine.
I mean, well before the channel started, I've always been like that. Like, like don't tell me anything about the show. Don't tell me how many episodes there are. Don't tell me themes. And I know that's being stupid and extra, but like
I'm glad I knew nothing about this show before
all
going. All
God,
I knew was like we had talked about on like our first episode of season 1, where like Vinland Saga.
The Vinland Saga.
The Vinland Sagas makes us think of Vikings, you know? Like that's literally what we went into this with. I thought that this entire show was just gonna be fighting. I really did. All fights.
I love this show so much.
Is there anything else? I have a few other things.
Yeah, go for it.
So I really liked Spherical bringing up something that he's already kind of told us before, that he does not like how his son has chosen to amass such wealth here on this farm, that it was unnecessary. He could have just been a farmer. He could have taken care of his own land, been able to feed his family successfully. He didn't need to amass such wealth and so many people under him, and that he has become corrupted by it. And I really think that that fits with being shown King Swen's head, that idea that a king will inevitably always become corrupted over their desire for more and more power.
Yep.
And that, and like during the episode, I freaked out over Leaf using the word oath.
Oh,
I was like,
so
like this was on purpose that you did this. And then as soon as I was like, this is on purpose, Leaf said it in like the next line too, and I was like, this is doubly on purpose. this is like not a headcanon anymore. This is like totally real. The oath being in here with knowing the courage that is being talked about in this episode. It's literally the episode title, not pain like last episode. This episode is even better because we don't like pain here. We like courage. Yeah. That's it.
Oh, good. You know, it's like to do exactly what I hate, and make it about me.
Okay.
Being trying to leave it at the door. Like I have not had a good few weeks, like for a bit, like this entire time since we started recording and watching the video. It's like I forget it all, like, and I'm just like happy and like with you, and like it's that's fucking awesome.
It's crazy how
that's fucking cool.
Some shows can really cause that complete distraction and immersion.
What a good story.
Yeah. I should have a cry counter.
No. Oh, it'd be 0 for me. I've never cried.
For this show, it'd be 0 for you?
On the entire channel.
Ooh, now I wish
never cried.
I'm gonna make
I don't make any faces. You good?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.
That was unintentional. It literally just came out.